definitely.
What are you, like, nigga number 3?
I mean, depending on the room. All right, let's. Oh, we're live. Oh my god.
Hey guys, and welcome to Babetalk. We're live this week with Neal from the Great Heights Band. Everyone say hi to Neal.
Hi.
Hey, hello, hi. Holla, holla, holla.
Holla, holla, holla.
All right, now we got Eric with us this week.
Toodles.
We got Alex North this week.
Hey.
And we have Shayna Davis this week.
Hey.
Davison. I'll never, it's Shayna. It's Shayna D.
There we go.
Shayna D.
That works.
Everybody. Hey, what's going on?
Shayna
I'm
D.
Ollie, and I never get anything right. So let's jump into the show. Every week, we start off the show by asking our group how their day was. And this week, I don't think I'm going to ask Alex, because I already know what he's going to say. So we'll start with Shayna.
I'm better now that I'm somewhat not sick anymore, sort of. My class got canceled, so that was really fantastic.
Oh, what class?
Contemporary International Cinema.
Ooh, so like what films do you guys study?
We studied, it's a different movie every single week, and then we write a paper about it. Actually, my paper was due at 6:30, so that's really awkward. We watched...
Shout out to Professor. Hey.
Ooh. We watched Boyhood, we watched Dazed and Confused, we watched The Budapest.
Boyhood.
It was so good!
Sorry.
No.
Oh no,
We watched-
we are a discussion podcast. Jump right in whenever you feel like it.
Sorry,
watched-
I interrupted.
I forgot we watched a documentary about some lady that took photos her entire life and then died, and then some kid found them because they were in a storage locker, and it was actually really interesting. She was a really, really good photographer. She did, like, life shots, so, like, people walking on the subway and that kind of stuff. And then I don't know what we were supposed to watch today, but I didn't.
When you said she was a woman who took pictures her whole life and then died, I was like, oh, so a photographer? Okay.
Well, she wasn't.
Right.
No one knew she was a photographer until she died. She was a nanny her entire life, and a really, really mean woman,
Oh,
according to the documentary.
so like you pretty much just said like, oh, she took pictures and then deserved to die.
No, she supposedly beat the children and force-fed them. So,
So she was the anti-Mary Poppins, is what you're saying.
yeah, basically.
I'm just saying, Pixar, it didn't happen.
That's awful. Just like the only picture she didn't take with the ones of her. It's like, I don't know, kids are kind of rough, man. You kind of sometimes need to like force feed them.
Here's some leaves. Here's a picture of some people walking. Oh, there's a bunch of kids getting beat. Let's go buy those. Let's go buy some more leaves.
It's like, oh, sorry, oh, you weren't supposed to see those at all.
Oh my
So
god.
speaking of future parents, hey, Eric.
Oh, hey.
Hey, Dad.
So today it's Daddy. And so today,
Okay, Daddy.
it's yes.
all
That's
night.
all my dreams
all
are
night.
coming
It's
true.
done. It is solid.
It is only like
so,
5
yeah.
minutes into the show.
5 minutes? No, 3. We didn't even make it to 5 yet. Hey, America, what's up?
I went to work. I put together a car seat. Well, I watched my wife put together a car seat.
You're awful. You made your pregnant wife put together a car seat?
No, she made me not do it because I'm terrible. She's like, let me show you how it's done. And so, then I practiced some acoustic guitar for a little acoustic sesh. It's going to happen this weekend. No big deal.
You're playing an
Casual.
You're playing an acoustic set?
Well, just a sesh, just a little recording, little,
Oh, yeah?
No, you know.
Just a little
Is it
here
for your
and there.
hip-hop tech?
Anyway, here's Wonderwall.
Eric, I spent 15 minutes the other day listening to your hip-hop record.
Oh,
and
no.
I was...
God damn it.
Can we repeat
I was
that? Can we
smiling.
repeat that?
I was smiling ear to ear the entire time.
See,
it was
so-
it took me from here to like here. It was awesome.
I bet it did. This was great. Neal asked me to. I think I mentioned it or he's whatever, and he asked for it, so I sent it to him. Most of the time, I send it to people, and they're always like, I'll be like, yeah, it sucks, and they'll be like, actually, I really like this. I really like this. But deep down, I know that the music was cool, but like the vocals were garbage. And Neal goes, yeah, man, this is cool. It's making me smile. All these vague compliments. He's like, and you know what's really good? The music. Yeah.
Oh, poor Aaron. I think you might have mentioned that compilation a while ago, and I totally forgot about it.
Yeah.
Like we definitely do need a showcase that one night.
Oh,
Like one
God.
night that we're having like a group discussion, instead of having like an artist showcase, we're gonna have Eric showcase.
And you can play it, and every song you can go. So what happened here? what happened?
Why is
Why
this
doesn't
so
this work?
awful?
Why doesn't this work?
And the best
I need
part
to
is I'll
listen to it
have-
because I'm not gonna shit on it because apparently Neil said that it was good. So
The music was good. The music.
He said
I said it made me smile. It made me smile.
oh dear Lord, Alex North, how was your day, bud?
Oh, well, instead of talking about my day, I'm going to talk about something that happened in the last, week or so. So, I went and I did my first interview for Babetalk with Braden of Say We Can Fly at my local
Hey.
venue. And it was a very weird experience after the interview because, the interview went well and everything. And it was he was a really cool guy. But then, afterwards, when there was the actual, show and stuff like that, it was just, there were so many 13-year-old girls there that I towered over everybody.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Didn't you witness a rape or something?
Excuse me?
That's tone of voice
No.
did not match the words that you just said.
Yeah. That got dark real quick.
Excuse you. Excuse you.
This
But,
podcast is a, oh my god. Go
That
on.
tone of voice didn't match the actual words.
But,
that came out of
but-
your
but-
No, I'm
I'll
sorry.
tell you-
It was in.
Wait.
It was in. I'm sorry. It was in the chat, and it's not an actual rape. That was.
Thanks for clarifying that.
So it
But,
wasn't. Oh my god.
but what happened
Alex, you
was
can talk.
that what happened was that so I was at the show and it was just it was really weird just because you would have these 13 and 14-year-old girls yelling these really sexual things at the band members. I want you to spit on me and stuff like that. It's just what the fuck?
Oh.
And you see all these girls' parents in the back in the bar, and they're all getting hammered, and it's what the fuck am I doing with my life? You know, I took my daughter to the show, and now they're fucking practically throwing themselves on these.
Not even
dudes or whatever.
throwing themselves, asking to be not just throwing specific fetishes. They want a specific fetish done to them.
They want to be spit on. Who wants that?
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing I think I've ever heard.
Oh, it's fucking
Warm
beautiful.
people.
Nah.
I don't know.
Alex, you have a tendency to go to shows that are geared for younger girls. I'm not
That's
gonna hate.
because that's because 13-year-old girls have the best taste in music. I mean,
They do.
come on.
Oh, no,
That's a
that
good way
kid
to
looks
dodge
great.
that. You dodged that
People
question
that,
well,
that don't
Alex.
know, Alex is a huge fan of Fifth Harmony, and I'm not gonna lie, I like Fifth Harmony, but I'm way too tall and black to ever be at those shows ever. But
Tall
Alex
and
somehow
black.
still fits within the demographic somehow.
Which is weird because Fifth Harmony sounds like a '90s R&B group.
I know,
Right?
right?
Yeah, they do.
You wouldn't imagine that it would be like.
Well, they have a song that's they have a song that's a tribute to Mariah, so
So that's close enough.
drawn.
Close enough. She's ethnic.
Yeah, close enough. She's something.
Oh my
Oh Lord,
god.
Neil, our guest for tonight.
Yo.
How was your night, sir, or your day? How was your day, or your past week?
It was excellent, man. It was good. Good. Went to Golden West Cafe in Baltimore. Maybe Eric knows what that is. Ate some amazing
don't.
food. Did some writing. You don't know what that is? What?
I don't eat in Baltimore unless it's at the venue.
Wow.
I just know the music.
You're a
But tell us about
county
it.
boy. I
I
guess
am.
you're a
Oh.
county boy then. Yeah.
Good old
You called that my whole life.
Yeah, I'm more of a city boy, but yeah, man, it's hipster neighborhood in Baltimore, Arts District.
Okay.
Chill. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a chill day. I'm really stoked to be here with you guys tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna have a fucking blast. So you said that you are writing. Is that true?
What do you mean?
You
So-
just said
so,
you were writing.
Oh no, yeah. So today, my part-time gig to make money beyond music is I'm a writer. So I write political nonsense for people. Yeah.
So are we talking the Bush family incest nonsense, or
No, like usually people give me like a really crazy complex problem, and I'm supposed to like come up with crazy ideas to solve it.
Nice. That's
And
actually
then write
pretty
about
crazy.
it. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
it's a good way to pay the bills.
There you go.
So basically, like a think tank, right?
More or less. More or less. Yeah.
Well, that definitely just goes like grades above my head. So, but that's also that you're able to like find another thing to keep you going besides the music. Then, to help
Yeah.
you
No. I mean,
pursue
it's more so. So I've been a writer for a while, but it's more so like a technical, like boring gig that pays my bills, and I can help solve some problems, which is cool. But I'm more of like a creative writer, which is where I get where I love, which is why I love music. It's just a completely way of looking at things.
There you go. And we will go into your songwriting style and to everything else later in the show. But right now, let's just move on with topics, and we'll swing over to our Warped Tour correspondent, Alex North, who has past 2 lists available for us since last week we weren't on air. I apologize, everyone.
Yes.
But Alex North, take it away with who we
All
got.
right. So 2 weeks ago, we had Bebe Rexha, Emma Rosa, the Karma Killers, MC Lars, Mod Sun, Pup, and 68.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
then-
I love Pup.
I do too.
Pup's awesome.
And then this week, we have Alvarez Kings, Moose Blood, New Beat Fund, and Paris. So those are all the bands we got for.
Isn't it Privis? Is it Paris?
Well, it was Paris, but then they had to because of legal stuff, they had to
Privis.
take the A and flip it upside down and take
Yeah.
the line out of it, but it's still
There's a
Paris.
rapper named Paris. Yeah.
Which is
There's a rapper named Transit.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah.
there was a rapper named Transit.
Yeah, really. I've seen him live. He's actually really good.
Shanna, you know about the hip hop?
I was working the show, so I was getting paid to be there. So.
Yeah.
I was getting paid to
Were
be
you-
part of hip hop community.
Were you
Yeah.
like that, the security guard in that famous photo of Black Veil Brides, who's just like, ugh.
No, but that would be that's how my face was the entire time. I was just like, and then I was wearing a Transit hoodie, which was really awkward.
That's beautiful. That's fantastic.
I forgot
You
that I
should have
was.
just been yelling at him, play Long Lost Friends. Just the poor
He
guy.
would have been absolutely
He
confused.
knew who Transit was, and he was trying to
Covered
tell me.
all of young New England.
Mhm.
He just
like
rapped
see him
it.
grabbing a mic.
I would have loved to see that. I would have enjoyed.
Sloan, just
I would have enjoyed to see someone rap Transit.
We'll just ask fucking Maddie from fucking A Lost from Words. He'll have time to do shit.
He's so great.
Oh, that's sad. That's sad.
Yeah,
I really don't like them for whatever reason.
you sound like
Lost
such a
for Words?
disappointed dad when you don't like a band.
You don't like Transit?
Mostly, no. I like Transit.
No,
I can
Lost
deal
for
with
Words.
Transit, but he's very Boston, and it just bugs me a little bit. I don't know.
What?
It just bugs me.
You're very Jersey, and that really bugs me.
Oh, girl, look who is not on the show next week. Shit, where'd Shayna go, guys? I can't fucking find her. But there is a story. I remember it was the first acoustic basement. This is actually the real story why I don't like A Lost for Words, and I really shouldn't because it's just Maddie. But it was the first
I wanna
acoustic
interview them,
basement that
don't-
I was and then you're gonna tell them that oh, my boss Ollie doesn't fucking like you.
I'm not gonna say that. Continue.
it
I'm
was-
sorry.
It was the first acoustic basement that Man Overboard was on, and I was this was when I first started drinking the pop punk Kool-Aid, and I was all yeah, I need to see everything Man Overboard does, and I was really excited to see them for a second time at the acoustic basement at Camden Warped Tour. So I was waiting for them to come on, but I needed to sit through A Lost for Words, which I saw them once before, and I was all right, they're kind of cool. And then fucking Maddie, 15 minutes late, just comes over to the tent. And no shirt, which it's Warped Tour, it's hot, but it just made him look like a douche, and I was just mad because I'm oh, I gotta fucking sit here and wait. And he's oh, sorry guys, I had to go talk to everybody else. Oh, someone told me the wrong time. Oh, I don't know, I'm gonna sit here and sing acoustic songs. And he stood the entire time and moved back and forth like he was fucking tweaking, and it drove me crazy. 'Cause I'm
Yeah, man.
it's
called drugs.
acoustic.
It's called drugs.
He was doing drugs. He was doing drugs in the fucking back of his trailer, but I mean, it's just just this acoustic set just moving back and forth like the entire time. Just like, I'm just like, stop. It's acoustic.
Yeah,
It's supposed to
man.
be nice and mellow.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, man.
It really is, especially
Yeah,
when
right?
The first Lost for Words album was really good though, and I felt like gradually like it got like more and more boring sort of from there. But I like his solo stuff a lot. I know that he recorded stuff with Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC. So
Are we talking about the R&B album that he put out, Class of '92? Because I got so mad at that. Like,
you didn't like Class of '92? Come on,
you know what?
come on, Ollie.
This is gonna sound really bad. I probably shouldn't give this opinion because it's not like my true definition. But like, I
Oh,
saw this just white boy trying to do R&B, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up, Maddie. You're nobody. But like,
my God.
I do know that like a Lost for Words was very predominant. Like when they were like touring and everything, and they were good. Every time I saw them live, they were good. But there was like just always the image of Maddie just like darting back and forth during an acoustic set late. That just kind of set me back. But it always
Yeah, well,
does,
he's a hardcore kid at heart. So those hardcore
He went
kids
to This Is
never
Hardcore.
wearing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he
They-
gave a
they
shout
don't
out
wear,
to Joe Hardcore during the One Year's weekend. Who was the individual that puts together all the This Is Hardcore in Philly?
Okay.
I forget.
So yeah, I mean,
Tell me.
it's like yeah, but yeah. So that's that. So speaking of like Warped Tour people, MC Lars is one of the like the Warped Tour vets that I always enjoy seeing at Warped Tour. Is there any other Warped Tour?
Which
vets
is
that you guys
crazy
like?
that he is now. Sorry. Which is crazy that he's now a Warped Tour. It blows my mind.
I know,
completely.
right? It's very bizarre.
Well, he
'Cause,
sampled
like-
Piebald in some of his songs, so it's like.
Well, I don't mean because of
Makes
that. I
sense.
mean because I'm so old. Because like I remember his first time at Warped Tour, and like to me a Warped Tour vet is like NoFX and Bad Religion.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
like you could even argue at this point like Less Than Jake or Anti-Flag, but like for that next generation. But knowing that MC Lars, that people consider him like, but you're right, because for the last 5 years he's been on it and consistently.
I thought you're not allowed
Has he
to.
ever been on the main stage? Huh?
I thought there was a rule you're not
Say again,
allowed to be
Shane?
on Warped Tour.
I'm pretty sure that if you're on Warped Tour, he might have taken last year off and
Okay.
like did like the prior 2 years, but he's been on Warped Tour like clear over 6 times, I think.
Actually,
Yeah.
MC Lars has only been on Warped Tour 2 times. This is going to be his second year.
I knew it.
Wait, are you sure?
The last time must have been like 4
I'm,
years
po-
ago.
I'm positive.
I love that
The
Alex
band,
is here. He's a
the
computer.
bands with the most,
He is.
the bands with the most appearances on Warped Tour are
No effects.
well, not in general, but I mean like for this year, the bands with the most appearances that are the
Okay.
most veteran Warped Tour bands are. You won't guess who it is. Black Veil Brides, Bless the
Ugh.
Fall, Escape the Fate, and Family Force 5 have all. This is their 4th year.
Wow.
I couldn't
And nobody's
guess
been
everything
on
but
Warped-
Family Force.
Nobody has been on Warped Tour more, and Matchbook Romance, Mod Sun, and The Wonder Years are all second place.
Weird.
But
I was gonna
Oh,
say
wow.
When
Warped
I
Tour is-
three.
when I think of Warped Tour, I think of NoFX,
I
MXPX,
know.
Lagwagon, Pennywise, all that shit.
Black Veil
Yeah.
Brides and Bless the Fall.
Black
Well, I
Veil
think that just
Brides are
goes
the
to
oldest
show-
band.
I think that just goes to show the prevalence of metalcore. That's just in alternative music. Like
It's gonna kill me.
right now, that's what's the shit. Like that's what's a couple years before then.
Straight up.
You had your Man Overboard going and like everybody wearing Defend Pop Punk shirts.
I'm
What?
still there.
What?
I haven't left that.
Nope. Every
Well,
year
it feels
we-
like-
I'm saying you're all gonna be as old as me a lot sooner than you think.
It
And
feels
How old
that's
are
like
you
like
again?
6
I love
months
that
from now.
sentence. I love that sentence.
How old are you again? I forget.
I'll tell you, I'm Neil's age.
We old heads.
Yeah.
We all have.
I think
It
you
feels
might
like
be older
with
than me.
it feels
Yeah,
like
I just turned 29.
Oh yeah, you're older than me.
Oh yeah, that's true.
it feels like with metalcore, like it was like really predominant for like a while back in like 2007,
06.
2008. Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
07.
like around that. So I think that's why you have like Bless the Fall and Escape the Fate and not Black Veil Brides, because Black Veil Brides is a more like newer band, I guess. But like at least Escape the Fate and
hate
Bless the
them.
Fall, they had like 2 years like back with like Ronnie and Craig back in the day,
Yeah.
and now they're sort of like because now they're like, you know, the old metalcore bands, I guess. You know?
I love Bobokin.
It's
Like,
sort of like...
I hate Craig Mabbitt, and I hate Ronnie, and I love fucking Bobokin.
Wait, do people not like Ronnie Radke? What? When did that happen?
Wait,
I
are we
know.
talking about artists that did shitty things, but we can try and differentiate their music?
Oh, what a segue!
I'm talking about rappers who are somehow worse than me. No, but yeah, that's a great segue.
That was a fantastic segue.
So,
True.
the next subject that we'll go into is, recently, Adam Lazzara got in a car, intoxicated, and decided it was cool to drive home. As many of you guys know, I'm very against it. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are against it. And,
I am Clay.
listeners at home, you even might be against it. So when you hear of like one of your favorite artists that kind of don't do no wrong, do very wrong, it's kind of hard to differentiate the person between the music. Because I will now say, yo, fuck Adam, that's awful. That's a very awful decision for him to make. But Taking Back Sunday, though. So like... So like, what do you guys think? Like, are we to hate the band that they're a part of, or are we still cool to like you know, listen to the fronted band, sing along to his voice, and still hate him? Because I'm still very fuck him. Like, there's no reason for it. He's at that level in which he could have listen. The whole time in Philly, we rode Ubers like it was our own cars for free. I don't think we paid for like one of them because we had a fucking system. We had a fucking beautiful system. So like an artist at his level should never ever have the need to get into any type of vehicle intoxicated and drive it.
This is how I see it. As people make mistakes, and I understand. You know, he's 40, maybe, I think, and he probably should know better. But people do. Like, people, like...
His kids probably know better.
Literally.
But, like, I made the mistake.
kidding.
Like, I didn't realize how much I had drank. And I drove home from Philly to Jersey. And I completely 100% regret it currently, right now. But I didn't realize it until I got up and go, I don't remember how I got home. So it's like, we all make mistakes. And, like, thank God I didn't hurt anyone. And thank God I didn't get pulled over. And so on and so forth, but, like, you know, first of all, I love Taking Back Sunday, and, like, I still like Front Porch, like, and I still like a whole bunch of bands. I don't care what they personally do. I like their music.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think he made a huge mistake. I agree with Shayna, but it's really about how he reacts to the situation that's really going to make him whoever he is, because he has a platform to really make a difference with people. Because people actually listen to him. So if he comes back from this and like, goes to court and like goes through the system and then faces whatever punishment, assuming he's guilty, that they dole out to him, and then uses it as an opportunity to educate people, he could come out ahead. And I think that it's like a DUI. I like just about every.
No.
It's starting to get real, and Google said, nah, we can't continue this conversation.
Yeah, no, it's like...
All right, Neil, can you bring your point back one more time? You started to cut out.
Oh, I did?
Yeah,
I don't know
like,
where I
completely.
was, but yeah,
It ended
basically...
that he could come out ahead.
He could come out, if you know what I mean. No, but he could come out ahead if he uses the opportunity to and uses his platform to educate people and to help people make better choices.
Yeah,
And
like, he could basically do exactly what I did, except he would make a difference because he's someone important. Like,
What-
say
what
I get
about,
I
like-
made...
What about, like, in circumstances where it's not necessarily somebody, like, breaking the law, but it's, like, them doing shady stuff and just overall, like, being an asshole? Because I
Like
think
Johnny
that's-
Craig?
If
I-
you
I
can
think that-
elaborate on that.
I think that there's a difference between somebody who does something that is, like, illegal and just, like,
Being a
screwing
shithead.
people over and
Or
being a
both at the
shithead.
same time.
Yeah, like the first guy that pops into my mind when I'm thinking about guys who are, you know, who don't do
Shitheads?
anything illegal, but they're shitheads, is the guy from. Does anybody remember the band Make Me Famous? That was
Yes.
It's a really
They
direct
had-
band name, though.
Wait, was it the
Yeah,
fake
right.
band guy?
It's very
Can you
clear.
see
What?
it?
The fake band guy?
Fake band guy.
Fake band guy.
All right, then I'm thinking it's all these.
How do you
Oh,
not
no,
think of
sorry.
Johnny Craig? Like, how is that not the first thing to come to your head?
Well, I mean, I think of this guy just because I know that he like screwed over his entire like band and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I guess Johnny Craig did too, but
Yeah, like
Yeah, so
probably-
then you can lump them all in. Yeah, that's okay. Well, so when I think of that, I think of a much bigger artist, Kanye West, who you could argue does some really shit-headed things, but I love his music so much,
But see-
so much that I posted, I tweeted, it was something like, I was like, oh, what would Kanye have to do to cancel out his musical genius? Like, what would he have to do? And I found it right here. My friend posted, he goes, get on stage wearing a Hitler costume while supporting the GOP, then he remixes Beck's music while calling Obama a racist. To which I replied, yeah, but that Beck track would still be hot, though. Like, it'd still be so good. Like,
Accurate.
it's really hard to, for me, if the music is good enough, I can, in almost any situation, I can just go, no, I love the art. The art isn't the artist. But it'd be very hard. But if it's like a band that I casually listen to, and they do something not necessarily against the law, because I don't necessarily agree with every law, but if they do something I think's immoral or makes them kind of a shitty person, if I'm a casual fan, I might just go, you know what, I'm not going to bother trying to listen to them or continue listening to them because it's not worth it. I'm not already invested.
Yeah.
I guess it does depend on the level, because, like, this is going to be really dramatic of me, but I'm a girl, so it's fine. But, like, when I found out, I think this was a rumor, but Craig Owens broke up Pete Wentz and Ashley Simpson, and I completely wrote off Chiodos. I was like, fuck Craig Owens, fuck anything he's ever done. I'm so angry with him, and I still have not listened to anything Craig Owens has done.
Cinematic
since then.
Sunrise though.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care.
Just
he
Neal.
broke, like, you don't understand. Like, I let Ashley Simpson into my heart because of P. Wentz, and she just fucked shit up.
That's hilarious.
I'm like a
love it.
lifer. Like, it's just serious. And I have
Did
a
you ever-
Baldwin tattoo.
For real, did you ever hear Pete Wentz on Howard Stern talking about his the intimate details of his relationship while he was still with Ashley Simpson?
No.
Yeah.
How did I miss that?
You can YouTube it. He talks all about anal sex and champagne rooms.
I don't know if I want to hear
Howard
that.
Stern,
What's better?
what a
What's better
classic.
than that?
What's better
Exactly.
than anal
And
in
then-
the champagne room?
Well, I'll tell you
Pete
what's not
Wentz is
better.
like a dad, though. Like, I don't want to
Yeah,
know.
I'll tell you what's not better is after that episode aired, there's a clip from a Fall Out Boy show that night where he goes, Howard Stern made me, to the audience, Howard Stern made me say some stuff I probably shouldn't have said. Sorry, honey.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, man. Yeah, you totally made
Pete
me
Wentz
say
is
it.
fantastic. He's just, like, the best thing ever.
Let's throw Pete Wentz with this conversation.
No.
I love what? Because and this isn't necessarily a Pete Wentz thing, but he opened that bar that was knowingly letting underage kids drink in there.
Yeah,
and
but
that
did
got
he
shut
know
down.
that, or was that the manager's fault?
Well, let's say he did know, because he did in interviews say, "I want this to be a bar where you can come in and not bring your ID." But let's say he did.
Okay,
No,
that's
we don't
stupid on
necessarily.
him.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. That doesn't make me hate him. I don't give a shit. That sounds perfectly fine to me. But what do you all think, like, with someone of that level that we have? I imagine at least most of us have a deep connection with that band in.
I mean,
I have
guess
zero
change
opinion. I'm
anything?
totally biased.
Yeah, from what you had said earlier with, like, it depends on the law. Underage drinking to me, nah, there are other countries that let kids underage drink or, drink normally.
Yeah, that's true.
You go to Italy, you see 5-year-olds downing wine and be like, more please, and be like, oh,
Well,
shit.
that might be child neglect. That situation
I mean,
there.
But I mean, like,
But I
for
see your
something-
point.
Yeah.
I feel like definitely like a lesser case of like all of this, because obviously she didn't really do anything illegal and she really didn't like partake in that much asshole behavior. It's just like from time to time she's kind of a jerk. Is my bae Ariana Grande. I mean, I have to bring her up here because I have a very love-hate relationship with her.
What does she even do?
Well,
She's a
well,
diva.
here's the thing. Yeah, she's a
Tyga?
diva.
Is that his name?
Tyga? No,
No,
we're not
What's
talking about
her
Tyga.
boyfriend? What's
Oh,
her
Big
boyfriend?
Sean.
Big
Sean.
Sean.
Big Sean. That's what she
She
does.
dates
She
Big
does that
Sean?
Yeah, she dates Big Sean.
That beautiful girl dates Big Sean.
Yeah, Big Sean's been on two of her
There's
albums.
nothing wrong with Big Sean. Big Sean's alright. Big Sean's alright.
I don't know. I picture her dating someone like One Direction.
Oh man.
She
Like all
dated the
five
guy
of
from-
them
Someone
at
like
once?
equally like
She
yes.
dated the singer from The Wanted, and she dated one of the guys from the Janowskians.
You know, if she was dating One Direction, you know how they'd sleep together? She would stay in one spot, and then they would rotate like they do when they do songs at their live show. Like one would just step up and go for 30 seconds, and then back up.
That's
Oh my
awful.
god.
No, she
Are
stays
you
put. They rotate.
are you introducing a One Direction Ariana Grande gangbang?
We're calling it. We'll call it the One Direction. The Wonder Action.
The One Direction.
I can't top that, but,
there needs to be fanfic. If anyone
The One
listens, Will
Direction?
shoot- if Will is listening to this, he needs to write fanfic.
Did you-
I'm gonna give him this assignment tonight.
Did you say a One Erection? Because that's what I heard.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
Okay.
basically,
So, or I was
Fair
thinking
enough.
Wonder Erection, but yeah, close enough.
but yeah,
Oh,
like I was
okay.
saying, you know, she's been a diva and stuff like that, and
So
I feel like
professional.
every time that she starts to, you know, be an ass and sort of like plastic and stuff like that, it feels like every time she does something like that, she does something good that kind of drags me back in. Like, it's like, oh, she said all of her fans should fucking die. Then she drops a great album, you know?
Wait, was that an actual quote that she had said? I wish.
Yeah,
all
I
my
think
fans
so.
would
Apparently,
die.
apparently so. Apparently so. She's like,
How
oh,
old
my
is she?
What is that?
She's like 20, 21, I think.
Yeah,
When did
she's.
she get
she's
famous?
young.
How many years ago?
She was on Victorious.
Victorious, yeah. But it's like,
I don't
For
know.
a while, it was
what
like,
the
you
hell
know-
that is. What year?
It's a Nickelodeon show, probably
Like
from like.
three or 4 years ago.
a little bit after iCarly. A little bit after iCarly, but
Yeah.
Well,
just a little bit.
There's a pretty popular theory about celebrities or people who get rich and famous. Is that the year that they get, like the age, whatever age they are, drug addiction, alcohol abuse, whatever age you are, is the last year you mature until all the yes people go away. Because why would you have a reason to mature? Everything is going just fucking fine for you, acting exactly how you're acting, which is why they say, like, you may notice money and fame doesn't affect older people as much as it does younger, because you just stay at that spot because you have no more room to grow.
I feel like
There's
she
no
was so
reason to
chill
do
though
it.
when she like she was like really like sweet though when like that first album dropped, but it's like after that, like around the time that the second album started coming out, you know, she started with, you know, all this diva nonsense, and it's like I get sick of it
Alex-
for a little bit, and then I go to Fifth
Alex
Harmony,
got sick of your shit, Ariana Grande.
and but then all of a sudden,
calm.
it's like she comes out with like a new music video, like the music video for One Last Time that just dropped the other day, and now I'm in love with Ariana Grande again, you know, after sort of taking a little bit of break from her. So
Alex North, I will give it to you. You're like one of the only people that will, like, you know, study an entire, like, you know, group of people and or artists' life when they get into their music. You like
Alex,
stalk
by the way,
Twitter.
Big Sean just threw his headphones across the really threatened right now.
Big
He's
Sean's
gonna
like, I
find-
don't fuck
he's
with
gonna
you,
He's gonna find you on Twitter and he's gonna start a war.
you little stupid ass bitch. I ain't
No, he's
fucking
gonna-
with you.
He's gonna
Is he-
DM
he's
you.
that
and be like,
song?
listen, man, I'm really.
Yeah, that's
please stay away, please.
Yeah, that's a song.
I like can't.
He was on
I
that Fall Out
can't-
Boy track, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I can't like not crack up every time I listen. Like every time I listen to that song, I just crack up.
It's a
like-
it's a rap song. It's not.
It's a real song.
yeah, it's a real song.
It's
Like,
real.
pretty sure
it's
that-
those
that's
little
Listen to
stupid-
Shayna, it's real. It's
Do you
from
also
the
laugh
streets.
every time you listen to Jason Derulo because like
Jason Drew.
I just
because
listened to
I-
Jason Derulo just to hear him say his name and then immediately turn off the song. That's all.
He actually doesn't like that. He wanted to take that out. I don't know why I know this. Actually, he wanted to take it out, and someone told him, "No, you have to leave it in."
are you secretly a Jason Derulo fan?
I don't know why I know that.
It's like when anyone else like it's hysterical because like people think like we won't know who sings a song if they don't sing it in the beginning of it.
Jason
Like,
Derulo
Pitbull,
has
like,
no
Pitbull
discernible
scream-
traits.
Pitbull screams his name every 15 seconds just so that you know it's Pitbull.
Motherfucker, I just bought your record. I know.
It's
I looked at the
and it's
cover.
every
I got it.
every goddamn song.
I know.
You can put that
Jason
under a list of things that literally nobody has ever said ever to Pitbull. I just bought your record.
No.
That's why.
Nice.
He's like, oh, fuck, you know?
Pitbull,
man,
Mr. Worldwide
have
coming on vinyl.
on vinyl.
Sorry.
I would buy that.
Oh god, I'm trying to think of what was the other subject that I wanted to discuss before moving on to Neil's. I usually write down everything before a show. Of course, the one
Why
time
wouldn't
that I
you
don't
write it
anything
down?
I don't know.
Well, there was Warped Tour stuff.
Why would you
there
kick
was,
them all these down?
There was Warped Tour stuff. There was bands being.
Stupid.
Oh,
Oh,
stuff.
okay. So the music stuff that I want to touch
Oh,
on.
the Spotify stuff.
Spotify stuff. Neil, you're an artist. Eric, you're an artist. Shayna, Alex, you're with me and not being an artist and learning and progressing our knowledge of everything else with music.
You suck.
Recently, we suck. We just put together. Yeah, whatever. So Spotify. Earlier today, I saw one of my panelists discuss whether Spotify actually helps or hinders a artist's career or a band's career. Of course, we know that Spotify takes out X amount of royalties and gives X amount of royalties back to you when you put a song on their service. And same as with other YouTube music services that divvy your music out to different services like Rhapsody, YouTube, because there's where they pick up their copyright infringement stuff. So with Neil, we'll start with you. From an artist perspective, where do you think that Spotify actually helps a person's career, or do you believe that going through a separate service is actually better than Spotify?
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to licensing, right? So each one of those sort of vendors or marketplaces or whatever, they're basically just licensing your music, and it only really is good for you. I mean, obviously Taylor Swift, for example, we all know, had like a bajillion plays and got like a $10,000 check. You know, we don't make any money off of Spotify. But if people are listening to our stuff and they come to a show or they buy some merch online, or, you know, it really depends on how the fans react to it. And I think that the revenue part of it is totally screwed right now. So Spotify should be paying more to the artist, especially given all the ad revenue they get, the monthly subscribers, all that stuff.
Very true, very true. And Eric, how do you feel about the both of those aspects? Because the revenue thing does make more sense, but then there are others that argue that, like, you know, as long as I'm getting my music out there.
So I would actually argue that the revenues are better than what a lot of bigger artists are saying. Like the Taylor Swift, for example, the way that these music royalties get broken down is it's not like if you're Taylor Swift, if you're me, right? If you're me, you have to split your shit 5 ways because there's 5 people in my band. If you're Taylor Swift, you have to split your shit probably like 30 ways. So that $10,000 check is probably closer to about 300,000 or 200, whatever it is, but it's getting split out to handful of writers, handful of producers, handful of percentage going here, percentage going there, record label. For a major label song record to come out, there's 40 hands in the pockets. So, like, that's why when you see, like, I know there was another person who posted, they had, like, over 100,000 plays. It was a guy who made, I want to say he made, like, soundtracks, like, movie scores, not soundtracks, movie scores. And his whole thing was like, oh, yeah, I only made, like, $100 for, like, 100,000 plays. It's bullshit. And it's like, well, you were one of about 7 or 8 writers on that score. You also only got this small percentage of this percentage of the cut of the royalties. Because the royalties are performance, ownership, if there's lyrics and vocals, there's that too. It all gets split up. And if you happen to do all of it, then you get a bigger amount that goes in your pocket. My insider knowledge on this, not just from my own band, which we don't have nearly that many plays, but my dad is a famous guitarist. And he's told me point blank, he's like, I don't know why people are complaining. If you wrote everything and you own it all, you get a fair amount. That's the difference.
Yeah, I mean, but I think that maybe we should look more at like how we're divvying it up. So if the artist at the end of the day is making less than a booking agent or a manager or whatever, the person that figures out what you're going to cater at the show, it does not make any sense. It's completely backwards. If the talent is not getting that maximum percentage, I think we should completely revamp the way.
So you're saying it's a bigger issue than just Spotify revenues or whatever. It's
Yeah,
it's the whole way the music industry works of who's getting paid.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, as an artist, the whole everyone knows it's the starving artist, and I feel like artists come into the whole thing with that mindset that they're supposed to be starving. I completely reject that. Without the artist, there's no art. And
Rick Ross
we need
rejects
to
that real bad.
we need to look at it totally differently. And the problem is that, like, labels and managers and all these people, they're like vultures going after typically young kids that are just excited about potential time on a stage, and they're totally taken advantage of.
So Neal, what would be the perfect world hierarchy that you would institute for streaming?
I think, first of all, there's way too many middlemen. I think there's too many people doing things that you really don't need them to be doing, and then taking a cut. But I think I don't have the answers to all the questions.
Like, for example, like, what kind of middleman are you talking about?
I don't want to get myself in trouble.
He just got signed.
I was gonna
say, tell us about your deal, dude.
Hold on, you just got signed. Let's.
Yeah, no, which is a great thing. And there's
No,
I
I wasn't saying like labels. They have their job and they do their job and so on and so forth. But I thought
labels totally do their job. I mean, for example, like, we'll get into my stuff in a little bit, but
yeah,
we have a lot of opportunities now that would not have happened had we not started working with people we really trust. But I know, for example, being a local band, like let's take Neal and Eric going
promoters.
back to our roots. Being a local band, you have a talent buyer for a big club that says, oh, there's this huge band coming into town that everybody knows on the internet. So let's say, hypothetically, it's May, because May is going to do their big destination tour, or whatever, their 10-year anniversary tour. Yeah. What's going to happen is May is not going to sell enough tickets. They're just not, because they're 10 years old now.
And they haven't been around
these promoters, and these promoters are going to reach out to a band with, like, 15-year-old kids or 16-year-old kids that don't know anything, that just see May online, and then they're forced to sell a couple hundred tickets, and they get, like, peanuts at the end of the day for all their hard work and dragging their friends and their family out, like,
or buying the tickets themselves at the
or buying it themselves.
To me, that's such a great opportunity.
Mm-hmm. To me, that's like an ethical issue.
Yeah, it is.
And we should look deeper at that.
So we're not looking at just like Spotify. We're looking at like the whole aspect of just like, how a scene intertwines with each other.
It's actually crazy that we're. You can go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
All right. Yeah. So it's actually crazy that we're talking about this because for my English class, I just had to write a paper on like all of this. So I actually did like the research and stuff about like how like percentages are divvied up, and it seems like really like, especially with like major labels and stuff like that, it feels like they always end up getting the bigger cut because not only do they get, I think, like 75% of like whatever is coming in from all the streaming anyway, but then they take cuts from that the money that would go to like all the writers and stuff like that have to go through them because since they're sort of employed under the labels themselves. So definitely it's a lot of that. They're not only getting their own cut, but they're also taking a cut out of what is going to other people who are like under them.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of like what the issue is, and it's an issue not only just for like band and stuff. I think it's an issue for Spotify because Spotify, even though they've been making more money lately, it's a very unsustainable business model, and they rely a lot on people wanting to upgrade from free to paid membership, and just with they're really competing against illegal downloads, which is very tough for them because there's no price cheaper than free. So it's like expecting people to really pay anything, is very tough. So they're basically saying, we think that, by giving them access to, this ad with free access, that they'll want to go and pay for the whole thing when, some like, 16-year-old kid or whatever will be like, well, why am I gonna pay for Spotify when I could just listen to it for free, or I could illegally download the new Fall Out Boy album on Mediafire or something like that. So it's I feel like the whole landscape really has to evolve, because with all the way the labels are, with like all the contracts and stuff that are in place right now, it's all very old school. So yeah, I think that I totally forget exactly where I was gonna.
I mean, what
your seventh grade papers.
Well, what you're talking about with the labels taking more money, it comes down to, those are called 360 deals, and
they're
what they
awful.
do is, yeah, you got to do it. I mean, if you look at their perspective, if you put yourself in their shoes for a second, it costs a lot of money to put out a record.
Won't
Like,
somebody think of the label?
I mean, it just does, and the fact is that, like, we as artists, we shot ourselves in the foot, like 10 years ago, by starting to give away our music for free, because we thought that would be great promotion. But
Yeah.
really what we did is we completely devalued our art. And then people expect it to be free. And like you said, there's nothing cheaper than free.
And you look at a lot of different other art forms. I was in a few different graphic design forums way back when. A lot of people were talking about individuals that will not charge enough, or will do it like Fiverr. There are some individuals that will absolutely embrace Fiverr for quick graphic design pieces. Like, oh, do you need me to brand your entire your company? We'll get it done within like a few days. A beautiful design for like $5. Whereas quality stuff is actually going to cost you like upwards of $75 to $100 an hour for someone to actually get some stuff out. And then people are going to look at you with like 9 heads and say like, you want me to do what for 100 what's? Excuse me, I'm paying how much? I can go to Fiverr and get something done, wait 2 weeks, and for $5 I now have branding. And it's as you said before, devaluing at such a long time ago. So it's
crazy.
Weird to kind of, yeah.
I feel like, because in the past, it's always been younger audiences that spent money on music because they have disposable incomes. I feel like in this day, and so it's always like, oh, you want to skew younger. You want to make music that's going to appeal to younger people. I feel like the people buying music now, because I know for me, there was a long period of my life where I bought music because it wasn't available online, because that wasn't exactly a thing. And then there was a period when it was, like for me, like half of college, half of high school and all of college, where I didn't buy a goddamn thing. But now, I still will stream or go to YouTube for free or whatever it is. But I will absolutely, if an album comes out and I like it, even if I have access to it for free, I'm buying it. Like, I'm absolutely buying it. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, how weird would it be if now, if we're looking at who actually buys music, and maybe it's someone who has income and value of that kind of thing is someone above the age of 24. And so now we should maybe try to skew art to, like, older listeners. So now if we play, like, bebop and shit, we might actually sell some records, as opposed to all this rock and pop garbage that's not selling anything.
If you take a look at all the formats that are coming back, like vinyl, everyone's getting on the vinyl train. And there are a lot of people selling out a lot of their stuff and making their money there. Whereas, like, people stream their stuff for Bandcamp, they'll name their own price, but you can't name your own price for that exclusive variant.
Because it's a conversation piece. No, like, there are lots of vinyl heads out there, but a lot of people, the vast majority of people buying vinyl, aren't listening to the vinyl. They're listening to the digital download that comes with it, and they're hanging the vinyl on their wall so they can point to it whenever anybody comes over, and they're like, yeah, check out this sweet vinyl. Look at my vinyl collection.
Sorry, that's the most pretentious. Oh my god, I just like,
Shit almost threw up again.
But
if that helps artists actually sell some product,
then go ahead. But it's like with me, like a lot of my friends, and I don't care if they're watching this or not, they will buy vinyl that's like, oh, I need first pressing of this, and I'm just like, how about you just want the album on vinyl because it sounds really fucking awesome on vinyl. Like, I want to take this to your grave on vinyl. I don't care if it's first pressing or 30th pressing. I want to take this to your grave on vinyl because I want to listen to it on vinyl. Yeah. And it's just like, it's so annoying hearing those people go, well, I need this pressing. I'm just like, I just need it on vinyl.
I mean, I can understand where people like to collect things. It's kind of like Some people
It's a
have baseball
novelty.
cards. It's a novelty thing. Some people have baseball cards. Some people have video games. Some people have their
Yeah.
hats. Like me, I always wear a hat. Like and
Yeah, I
love
guess you're
yeah,
right.
It's a thing that people do. But so we went from hey
Sorry.
everybody, hey guys, we went from literally saying how we can market your band on Spotify and on other platforms to how to market. Period. That is how we do things on Babetalk. We talk about one subject, get to like 3 different others.
Oh my god. No, but with
Oddly.
the whole with the whole
Go.
okay, no, but with the whole like Spotify stuff and like labels and stuff, I just want to tread lightly just because like I'm in the business side, I'm not on the artist side, and like I just don't want to say anything to incriminate me. So I kind of just like stood quiet for a little bit.
Oh, girl, you're good.
Yeah.
You're fine.
But does saying that
When you asked about
incriminate
the middle,
yourself?
then are you like,
Probably. But it's because, like, I see both sides of things, but, like, if I say something about the artist, that makes me look bad to labels, and, like, you know. So,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
don't get me
don't
wrong. I
talk.
think that there's certainly value in what everybody does, and like
Yeah.
especially if you like Fall Out Boy. Fall Out Boy is an example of a band that blew up over the span of a year, and that didn't just happen because they jumped around on stage. They had like a ton of people at Fuel by Ramen making.
oh, they
that
knew
happen.
exactly what they
So-
were doing.
Yeah.
Fueled by Ramen worked their asses off to make that a hit. Like, that was crazy how... I've never heard of a label, other than throwing a lot of money in, of throwing that much effort into making a band pop.
Accurate completely. And it's funny that we all definitely know that era. Like that's how that's how hard they worked. That we now remember the Fuel by Ramen era.
But that's what it was. I mean, it was Paramore, and it was The Academy Is, and it was Fall Out Boy, and, you know, 4 Year Strong was on there, and it was that
Fucking Jam Class
2000...
Heroes.
Yeah, 2005 was just, like, it for Fueled by Ramen. Panic at the Disco.
Yeah, that was like their shining year for shit, man.
And a lot of those bands, you know, Panic, Fall Out Boy, and Paramore are still relevant.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they had a lot of good bands on there too that weren't like the biggest bands, but they got a
Touchdown.
boost just by being on that label with, you know, Panic at the Disco and Fall Out Boy. You know, you had This Providence, you had Punchline, you had the Swellers, you had October Fall. You know, you had all these different. Oh, the Friday Night Boys, which is a favorite of mine and my bleeding neon pop part. You know, but
I thought they were Decay
Yeah,
Dance.
they kind of had a drive-through thing going on.
Yeah, and now I feel like it's...
they had a lot of really quality stuff going on.
And I feel like 2015, that's what Pure Noise is doing. Like, that's gonna be the next label that's doing stuff. That's my own opinion. Pure Noise is doing it.
Pure Noise is doing it. 2015, Pure Noise Takeover.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. But we're going to switch to some gears, and we're actually going to talk to our guests for tonight, which is Neal from the Great Heights Band. So,
Yo.
what we do is we kind of go back and forth between our panel. We ask all the questions, and you give all the answers, and if you don't answer within 3 seconds, we kick you off the show.
That's it.
That's it.
I'll do
You're
my
on.
best. It's the
Do your
Budweiser
best.
hot seat.
Okay.
Cool.
The Budweiser Hot Seat, sponsored by. Welcome to the Budweiser Hot Seat, provided.
Speaking of making royalties, Budweiser. Thanks for having me.
Just like that scene from fucking Wayne's World.
Oh, that was great.
How we'll do tonight's show is we'll do an order that I see on screen, which will be Alex North, Eric, and then we'll have Shayna, and then I will provide my questions. But I will start off this interview by asking for a general synopsis of who the Great Heights Band was. Where'd you guys start? Why'd you guys start? Let's delve into who you guys are.
Sure. So the Great Heights Band started in my brain, like the winter time of 2013 or so. I started just writing songs in my apartment, and in the springtime of last year, hit up my buddy Paul, who's a great drummer. He used to drum in a band called You Mean Everyone We Know, and we played in a band together in Baltimore as well. And we've just known each other forever. So I hit him up, and we went to the studio and tracked a couple songs. One of those songs was Portland. And we just put it on our personal Facebook pages and said, hey, check out some music that we're doing. And people got pretty into it and asked us to write some more songs. And so we wrote a few more songs and made an EP. And then around that time, the Autobar hit us up to open up for Hello Goodbye and Vacationer pretty randomly. And so then we were like, crap, we gotta learn how to play these songs. So then we kind of built the band around that. And things have just sort of rolled since then. It's been crazy. It's been an adventure.
All right,
All right. So my question is, your name, the Great Heights Band. What exactly does it mean, and what is the significance of having the band in the band name?
Yeah, well, just to be clear that we're a band, first of all. No, but we were originally called Great Heights, just called Great Heights. And we were called Great Heights because one of my main songwriter influences is Ben Gibbard, and I am a big Death Cab fan and a Postal Service fan, and Such Great Heights is just a really great song. And so I sort of just like the meaning of that, just taking a step back from reality and just like seeing the world for what it is from a distance, and it's way more beautiful, as those lyrics say, than it is really on the ground. And so we were called Great Heights, and then like Paris and some other bands, Transit, there was another Great Heights out there, and actually right when we released Portland and Stay, there was a band that popped up on the West Coast that's a Christian band, and they put out like Jesus, Love, and Music like a week before we put out music under the same name, and so they beat us out by a week. And so then the Hello Goodbye thing happened, and I think when we played the Hello Goodbye show, we were still called Great Heights. And then, of course, all this legal stuff with the label came up, and we considered changing the name, but really we just stuck with the Great Heights Band. Our friend Tom suggested it from Carry the Banner. He's a really good guy, and just grew on us.
Stay punk. Don't change for no one. Fuck them.
Yeah, yeah. There's another band called the Smith Street Band from Australia that's really cool too. Punk band.
So this record is coming out. It's a full length, correct?
Yep.
So take us through the process of making this. Just to set it up, you recorded in 3 different studios over the span of
4
many
studios.
months, 4 studios, and right in the middle of all this, you took like a trip for a while, like across the coast or across the country.
Yeah.
So could you tell us like about the process of writing this album, a couple songs at a time?
It was crazy. I mean, like we did those first 2 songs, like I said before, Portland and Stay, and then we did those with this guy Greg Parker, who has a studio in Baltimore called Amp Recording, and Greg's a really talented guy, really quick, great musician. And then from there, we recorded 3 more songs with Mike Bridget at a studio called the Monster House in Waldorf, Maryland, and he's done a lot of really cool pop-punk records. And so then we had 5, and then we had Mike remaster all the songs from Greg, so then we had a 5-song EP. Then I went out to California. I was in San Francisco for the summer, and I tracked a song out there with my really good friend Eric Urbach at Lodasia Studios in San Francisco. So then that song got done sort of as like a B-side. Then we got signed, and the label wanted us to put out a full length, but they really wanted Portland to be on the full length, and they really liked a lot of the songs on the EP. So then we were back in the studio in Baltimore, and we recorded with Eric Taft, who's like, you know Eric well, Eric. And Eric Taft is just like an all-around good guy, great engineer, great producer, amazing musician, just like a joy to work with. So all in all, we worked with 4 different producers, 4 different studios all across the country, had it all remixed, remastered, which was a challenge in itself because every room's different, everybody uses different gear, everything was recorded differently. So it was really, really challenging. And then, of course, working with the label, you kind of got to like make sure that they're getting the product that they wanted too. So it's been a crazy experience because you wind up writing all these songs over the course of a year, and it's all supposed to represent one body of work. So it's pretty wild.
Okay. Is my turn? Okay. So how was the process in getting signed that?
So in the spring of earlier this year, in the spring of 2014, I guess, we made a music video for Portland, and we wanted to do something really different and unique, and we didn't want to just like film a live show or like have a party scene as like a music video. You know, all that stuff's been done a few times, and so we really wanted to make a one take music video. And I really like the aesthetic of like Wes Anderson movies, and so we wanted to make like a Wes Anderson sort of one take music video, and that's what we did with Portland, and it came out awesome. Worked with really talented people, which by the way I think is really the moral of this story is that we've worked with amazing people. Like you said before, like paying people for their work. We've paid the right people for their work to make sure we do really cool things. So we made the Portland music video. We threw it on the internet, and it got like an absurd response. And then we just started getting emails from different record labels interested in putting out our stuff, and started talking to different people. When I was on the West Coast, I met with some labels and did that. But really, the people that sold us on them really giving a shit about our band and wanting to represent us in a really cool way was CI Records in Pennsylvania. They had us come up there in Lancaster and sit down, and Jeremy gave us a spiel for hours on end. He's just a charismatic, charming, brilliant guy that's been doing this for like 20 years. And they, of course, they put out records that I really love, like Juliana Theory and Sensefield, if you're into like that old emo stuff. And then the Pink Spiders, of course, got huge. Texas in July got huge. August Burns Red got huge. So they had that DIY punk rock label mentality that I personally love, but they've also had success in the past and have all the stuff in-house to be able to take that band to the next level. So when the Pink Spiders blew up and they were a CI Records band, they wound up being Warped Tour main stage, like overnight.
Wow.
And CI had the capacity to deal with it. And so that's sort of like what we were looking at. They didn't want us to be like a one and done sort of situation. We could have went like a different route with a bigger label, but they really want to invest in our future, and that was really exciting.
Awesome.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, like going from what you guys had before and then just like getting a lot of notoriety for, especially the video. And I love the video. Once I watched it, I was like, I can see why you would get the absurd amount. It was very well produced. The song was beautiful and catchy, and it was a fresh take.
That's probably hands down the best local video I've ever seen in my life. Like, no exaggeration. It's unbelievable.
Which was really cool because when I first got that, so Jeremy and I are emailing back and forth or whatever, and I'm like, okay, this random guy, whatever. So then he calls me and he gives us his pitch on the phone, and that was what he said is in the last 20 years, the best independently produced music video he's ever seen. And that was such a compliment, especially coming from someone like that that's like done basically everything there is to do in music.
Yeah, and that's nowhere near anyone blowing smoke up the ass. That's like some actual shit from, like, coming from people. So taking what you guys had, getting something really well produced, and not having too much under your guys' belt, what do you guys think of like where you guys are at now? Like as far as your band goes, like has it?
I
like,
honestly,
go on.
I honestly think that we are incredibly blessed and fortunate. There's people that have worked way harder than we have worked for much longer than we have worked, and a lot of it comes down to really good luck. Like we got really, really lucky, and of course, like we focused our energy on the music and the stuff that really mattered, the music and the product, the video product, not so much on like Facebook likes and things like that. And so, yeah, we're really excited about where we're going. We haven't really done much, which is really funny in terms of where we are today. But we have a lot of cool stuff on the horizon. We're going to be doing a tour in April. We're going to be opening up for Alien Ant Farm in April, which is ridiculous.
Wait, what?
They've been Baltimore's a big. Is it in Baltimore?
Yeah. No. We're playing the festival's in Pennsylvania, I believe.
Oh, okay. They have a big East Coast, specifically around Baltimore area. Like they come here a lot. They're fucking
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, they play. Oh, we'll talk about it later. But man, yeah, you could open up for them like every 6 months if you wanted to, probably. Just from being from Baltimore. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, like honestly, it's been so great getting as much support as we've had, like locally and in the community. Because there's so many great musicians and great artists here, and to have like mutual respect and have that sort of like community feeling is just really cool. So And of course,
Alright,
we
so-
try not to be jerks. We try to be cool people.
We
Neal-
don't want you guys becoming a news story.
Neil comes to local shows, just pisses everywhere. It's just real.
Just
It's
like-
real.
Just
He wears a
crosses
suit too. It's
everyone.
jarring.
It's jarring. Did you just say jarring? Really?
Yeah, a little bit.
It's jarring. Alright.
Jarring. Based on a
Jarring.
whole new show now. We're using big ass words and shit.
Big ass words.
Big ass words.
That's an ing on a 3-letter word.
Dr.
All right,
Simpson?
so
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna switch gears a little bit, and I'm gonna ask you about the cover that you just put out. I think it was like yesterday.
a couple of days ago, a few days ago.
Yeah, a couple
Yeah.
days, Alex. Read a book.
Oh well, according to the Bandcamp, it says February 17th. But what do I know?
Damn. Pulling
We
shit
put it
off.
out. Yeah, no, we put it out last week. CI put it out
Boy.
via YouTube, and then we just put it up for free download yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
So
anyway,
you're wrong.
so yeah, you win some, you lose some. But so you decided to cover "Love Fool" by the Cardigans, which is one of those like 90s songs where it's like, oh yeah, I know that song, but it's like you don't really like I
No,
Are you saying it's kind of random?
yeah, like what was your like mindset in choosing that song in particular to cover? And are there any other like weird 90s pop songs that you're a fan of that you would be open to covering in the future?
So I hope you come out to a show first of all, because every show we play 90s covers. We like 90s songs; they're really fun, and they're really simple. But Love Fool is just like, it's a great song. It's really catchy. The way she sings it is like sad but sexy. It has some cool musical changes. So it has key changes in there. In our cover, we do a tempo change, which is cool. But of course, we also put it out around Valentine's Day. So we wanted to do a Valentine's Day song that people could get into. And originally, I wanted to do a Get Up Kids song. I wanted to do
Valentine's Day.
Valentine by the Get Up Kids. But that song was like just a little too sad, and like I didn't think that enough people would really know the song. And I guess the market we're getting into is a little bit more mainstream, if you will, like not so much just the Warped Tour punk rock community. We're sort of like going into more of a Weezer sort of place. And so, and also Lynette, who's our other singer in the band, just has an amazing voice, and we wanted to do more stuff that could feature her.
Cool.
So for this record's interesting because it's also coming out after you put out some of the songs from it on an EP. So for a fair amount of people, they've gotten used to your sound as in those 5 songs on the EP. What can people look forward to or expect from this full-length record that may deviate a little bit from the image that they already have of you based on that EP?
Well, I mean, it's an 11-song record. 5 of the songs are the songs off the EP, so you'll still get a good chunk of EP sort of stuff. I would say that what makes our band unique is that we have some songs that are kind of like a Weezer, Ozma sort of thing with keyboards
Ozma.
and like, you know, just really like cheesy but fun sort of lyrics and stuff like that. But then we have like more, I would say, as far as musicianship goes, more interesting songs going on. So songs that were more inspired by Death Cab for Cutie or by Third Eye Blind is a big 90s thing for me. I love Third Eye Blind, but like Stephen Jenkins is a great songwriter. I'm not even talking about like Semi-Charmed Life. I'm talking about Motorcycle Drive-By maybe. Songs
of course
that,
you're talking about Motorcycle
songs that aren't like, you know, the song, but like songs that I listened to growing up. So yeah, I mean, I think there's enough on there that's like, holy shit, Portland's catchy, and I love this song, and it makes me like want to drive to the beach. But then there's stuff that's like a little bit more introspective and really, really personal.
Being able to balance the two in there, like you know, going from like oh really catchy thing, and being like, oh, here's actually like you know, an honest band. You're able to catch what music is, and I'm saying it out loud, and it sounds really stupid, but like it's working its way in my brain as to like translate, because that's what people really look for in albums. They're looking for something that they can dance to, that they can move to, and then also be able to look inside of an artist's eye and be like, oh shit, like now I'm actually able to really appreciate music, because now we're getting a sense of who you guys actually are.
Exactly. And I mean, there's songs that are catchy pop songs. They're supposed to be catchy pop songs that you're supposed to have fun with. Music's about evoking emotions and getting people to enjoy their life or have some sort of connection with the music, have them relate to it. And some songs are meant to just have fun with, and some songs are meant to be a little bit more connected with. Like, for example, I keep going back to Death Cab because I love Death Cab, but like, What Sarah Says, not my most favorite song, but it's a song that might make someone like think about sitting next to someone on their deathbed and having that moment, and so that's what we're trying to do. A little bit of everything. It's about balance.
Yeah, and you guys are doing a kick-ass job finding that balance so far.
Thank you.
My turn?
Yes, Shane, that's your turn.
So I don't know if everyone stopped. Okay, so you said you guys were going on tour near April. Is this going to be like a full U.S. tour or East Coast thing, Midwest, West Coast? Do you have any idea?
Yeah. Well, okay, so...
Do you know where you guys are going?
Yeah, we'll work it out. So the festival that we're playing is called the Launch Music Festival, or I think actually the Launch Music Conference. And it's a conference because they have the actual concerts, but they also have panelists and really cool speakers coming. So like Kevin Lyman from Warped Tour is coming, and some other
heard of this
VIPs.
festival.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and they have some like really huge headliners playing. But the tour we're doing is branded like the festival, and this is like new information. We haven't even put this out there, so you kind of have an exclusive right now. But it's the Launch Tour 2015, and the tour itself is a couple of months, but we're only on like 8 days or so, and we're going from our first date starts in Atlanta, so we go up from Atlanta up the coast. We're going to play a hometown show in Baltimore. And then we're going to go as west as like Chicago and Detroit, like the Midwest, and then we'll be coming home.
Cool. Stopping in Philly?
They gave me the routing, which doesn't really give me the actual dates. It's more like a guess of where we're going to be. And Philly wasn't on there. I think they had Pittsburgh and they had, I don't know.
Such
I
as
think
life.
New York might be on it, yeah.
Oh, that I can do. I mean, I could do Baltimore too, actually.
We're just gonna
Right,
be
you come to
like
Baltimore.
Shanna, me and you are just gonna be like doing like a Baltimore like trip like every other weekend.
There we go. Whatever.
Can you
definitely-
call me when you're here?
Yes, Eric, we can. Oh Jesus! But so my question actually is more towards you, and as a artist in yourself, what had actually wanted to get you into music? I know you have a lot of musical influences, and did any of them serve a purpose as to you learning an instrument, or wanting to get into songwriting, or was it just like something that just like, bloop, I want to play a fucking guitar?
Well, clearly it was the chicks. No, I'm just kidding.
What else do
My,
we do life for?
Growing up, my dad was a huge influence on me, and he bought my first guitar for me when I was pretty much a very little small child. But he used to make me listen to records with him for about 3 hours every day. Just sit there and listen to records. Everything from the Beatles and Hendrix to Stevie Ray Vaughan to Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong to ABBA to and everything, you name it. I listened to that growing up, and really, I guess the way it made me feel as a kid made me feel freaking awesome, or really sad, or really good, or whatever. And I just sort of really loved the way, John Lennon and all those guys really wrote music. Eric Clapton, Cream was a huge influence. But then when I first heard Blink-182 Dude Ranch, like as I was like an angst-riddled teenager, that really got me stoked on like really being a performer.
That came out when we were 11.
Yeah, yeah. I was into it, and it was actually a CD that my cousin who got into country music was like, this is good. I'm just not into it anymore. And I was like, okay. And that completely changed my life.
But it was
So-
called Dude Ranch.
I know.
The irony hurts. It hurts.
Yeah, it was just fun, fast, got you pumped.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I always felt sort of like I didn't fit in all the time in school and all that, and I felt like that type of music just really fit me, and the people I wound up hanging out with were into that kind of music too. And then I became a punk asshole, so here we go.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Write that on my gravestone. Punk asshole.
Perfect.
So before I ask this question, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Ashley Nicole, who always asks this question to everybody who comes on the show. What is something that somebody can do within the scene? Oh, shit. I forgot the question. Like
Alex.
Somebody help me out here.
I got you. Individuals like myself, Shada, Alex, we're not really musically inclined. We're musically illiterate. We just listen to music and be like, oh, that sounds cool. Let me play it again. But for an artist like yourself, what are we able to do to kind of stay involved in our scene?
I mean, you guys are doing it, obviously, with this
besides
podcast,
us,
or whatever, this thing. But, I mean...
Everybody start a pop podcast tomorrow.
It's really just honestly, it's going to shows. Because when you go to a show, and, well, first of all, as a musician, when you're on stage and no one's there or people aren't into it, it sucks. You're like, why are we doing this? But when people are there, you get stoked and you start building friendships, and it's beyond like a fan-musician relationship. It's really friendships, especially when you're at like a pretty low level on the totem pole. So yeah, really going to shows and just showing people that you support them and like give a fuck about what they're doing is a big step. And then like spending the $10 on a t-shirt like really makes a difference. And then of course spreading the word. It's telling people about artists in your community that you think are really good, that deserve some attention. That's really, really helpful.
Thanks for your assist there, Ollie.
Yeah. No problem. I got you. Swoosh. Eric, you got another question?
So I was going to say it is 10:15, and I want to make sure we play Portland. So does anybody have like a final question they're dying to get out?
Yes, actually, because I want you to know the dynamic on how you were. Paul was your drummer that you brought on. How were you actually able to find your other band members and like say like, yes, we want this?
Yeah, so I've played in bands with Paul before. He obviously plays drums, and so he was an easy choice to play drums. And then Owen, I played in a band with before. And basically, I just picked people that I've been in bands with before that were easy to work with and tolerable and cool people and just really good friends and good musicians. Because unfortunately, I've been in bands with really talented people, but we're also crazy and they're impossible to work with. So
as is the life of a musician.
Yeah, so I focus on people that like I can have fun with and I can communicate with easily and not have any like major issues with. And then of course Lynette, I've known for a long time, and she's a classically trained pianist and singer. So she was an easy choice because I wanted a female that can do some cool stuff too.
Nice. That's how you get it done. I'm gonna prep Portland, and I will give a intro. Well, I won't give an intro. Neil will actually give the intro, but someone make small talk while I get that going.
Hey guys, how's
So-
life?
Hey, I'm Ollie.
So what are you doing? What are you doing later, Neil?
I was gonna go to
Like,
Autobar.
Oh, you're gonna go see In Your Memory?
I think they already played, and I was gonna meet our boy Eric Taft, but I think he got scared of the snow.
Yeah, I am too. But I'm also housebound. Dude, what's really cool when you were talking about all the producers you worked with, is that A Place and Time has worked with 3 of them,
That's funny.
and I've
They're
worked
awesome,
with
by
3
the
of them
way.
as well. But yeah, not on the same record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Place in Time is so good.
Yeah,
People
we had
should
Joel
check
on
them
here a
out.
while ago.
I love Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joel. Oh my God,
Good guy. Good guy.
Keep going.
Joel has hand motions whenever he points. Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's
So,
been like it's been weird doing all the whole record in 4 studios. But if you look at like Weezer's Pinkerton record, That was done in like 7 studios. You know.
That whole record is weird as shit. They wrote it because he's in a cast and he had to play everything in standard on the first 4 fronts. Yeah,
that's right. But it was really cool because you get to work with different people and they sort of put their own spin on things, and it's interesting how when it's all said and done, it all really came together into one cohesive piece of art. You know.
I think it's awesome that you work with so many people.
I love it. Like that's one thing I really want to do. I guess going back to Alex's original question about the Great Heights band. One thing I've really always wanted to do is work with a bunch of different artists. And so I'm going to continue to like I hope to be on Eric's next rap album if he wants to give me a cameo appearance.
With your headphones, you're already on it.
Got the productions going.
Yeah,
right,
so
we're actually I didn't mean to cut off, and I did.
Let's play that jam.
All right, yeah. So Neal, give an intro for Portland. I know you were discussing it earlier tonight, but you can give like one final intro before we start playing.
Yeah, this song's called Portland. It'll be on our debut full-length record, and I guess it was sort of our first hit, if you want to call it that.
All right, so here we go. Portland by Great Heights Band.
I saw you waiting by the door. I always wondered what you're waiting for. You were depressed, I guess, a mess, searching for another shore. I saw you packing all your bags. Didn't know that I was such a drag. You hit the road alone, go home, headed towards the West Coast. Well, I'm sorry, sweetie, we just didn't work out. You didn't quite get it, so I'll scream and shout. I don't wanna go to Portland. 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 I had to hear it from your friends, how you thought I was a dead end. You know we could have talked and wrote or spoke, so it needed to be said. Why did you break my ball? Well, now that's really fucking wrong. We went from being rad to sad. I'm glad I've gotten over being mad. Well, I'm sorry, sweetie, we just didn't work out. You didn't quite get it, so I'll scream and shout. I don't wanna go to Portland. 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 You're leaving, got your reasons. Go if you wanna go. I saw you waiting by the door. I always wondered what you're waiting for. I saw you packing all your bags. Didn't know that I was such a drag. I don't wanna go to Portland. 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 I don't wanna go. I don't wanna go to Portland. I don't wanna go. I don't wanna go to Portland. I don't wanna go. I don't wanna go to Portland. I don't wanna go.
And that's it.
There it is.
By the Great Heights Band. Eric, I saw you with the little hearts. I couldn't showcase it fast.
Oh yeah.
And a little cat-like thing.
Yeah.
That was
I
cute.
was like, that was adorbs. That was absolutely adorable.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody, Neal from Great Heights. It was awesome
Thanks
talking
so
to you
much,
tonight.
dude.
Thank you. It was
That
fun.
was awesome.
It was absolutely fun. This is what we love to do. And so,
Hey.
yeah.
You guys got to come to that Baltimore show. We'll hang out. We'll throw a few back. It'll be chill.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we absolutely will, because that's what I do.
Cool.
We'll
That's
definitely
what I do, too.
take the trip down. And if Alex wants to come down, we can all meet near me and drive down.
Hey.
Hey, we gonna have some fun pop punk posse times.
Hey.
So we have to look forward to a full length. We have to look forward to a tour that's gonna go places in April. A few festivals lined for you guys, and you guys have just been signed. Looks like it's gonna be a pretty chill for 2015 for you guys, huh?
It'll be fun. It's going to be an interesting year.
It will be fun. Is there any news that we're missing, or do we cover everything tonight?
You pretty much covered it, but I would keep an eye on us. There's some other things going on.
All right,
We
everybody,
definitely will.
keep an eye out for Great Heights Band for the rest of the year. Congratulations for them getting signed. We will, of course, be passing on any news that we hear to everybody that reads or listens to Babetalk .tv. If you guys have anything to share, always just come to us. We will always put a word out. And from everybody here at Babetalk, this is where we're going to end the show. From Alex, Eric, Shayna, and myself, Neal, thank you again.
Thank you.
And everybody, enjoy the rest of your night.
Bye.
Bye.